Welcome, wrestling warriors. You're tuned into Wrestle Watch Central, your daily dose of WWE. Hit that bell, and let's get started. The tension backstage was unlike anything WWE fans had felt in years. The cameras weren't rolling, but whispers spread like wildfire. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself, had arrived unannounced at SmackDown. Yet this wasn't a dramatic return or a surprise segment. This was something far more personal. Moments before Jey Uso's highly anticipated match against CM Punk at WWE Saturday Night Main Event, Roman and Jey came face-to-face for the first time in months. What happened next could reshape the entire legacy of the Anoa'i bloodline forever. The unexpected reunion. The atmosphere backstage was electric. Jey Uso was minutes away from stepping into the ring with CM Punk, the best in the world. For Jey, this was more than a match. It was the next step in his solo journey, a chance to prove he could stand alone. He was warming up, confidence radiating from him, when suddenly the hallway fell silent. Out of the shadows appeared Roman Reigns. No entourage, no Paul Heyman, no Solo Sikoa, just Roman, calm, composed, and carrying that same quiet dominance that once ruled the WWE landscape. Jey froze, his expression a mix of surprise and emotion. "You really here?" he asked. Roman simply nodded. For the first time in months, the cousins stood face to face, not as rivals, but as men who shared the same blood, the same pride, and the same burden. Words of wisdom from the tribal chief. Roman broke the silence first. "I heard you got CM Punk tonight. The best in the world, huh? That's no small thing." Use. His tone was calm but filled with meaning. There was pride in his voice, yet something deeper, almost protective. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Listen, CM Punk plays mind games. He'll try to make you question yourself. But remember who you are. You're not just Jey Uso, you're main event Jey Uso. You earned that name because you stood up to me and survived it. You're built different, Use. Don't let him pull you into his world. Make him fight in yours." Jey listened, his usual fiery energy replaced with quiet respect. This wasn't Roman the competitor speaking, it was Roman the mentor, the leader who understood what it meant to face the pressure of legacy. "When I stepped away," Roman continued, "I didn't leave because I was done. I left because the bloodline needed to grow. You, Jimmy, Solo, you all needed to find your own power. But you," he paused, pointing at Jey's chest, "you're the one who carries the spirit of this family." In that moment, Roman's eyes softened. The tribal chief wasn't talking to a follower. He was talking to family. "I'm proud of you, Us," he said quietly. The 5 words that changed everything. Those words, "I'm proud of you, Jey," carried more power than any championship. They symbolized forgiveness, respect, and growth. Years of rivalry, betrayal, and heartbreak seemed to melt away in that single sentence. This was the same man who once demanded loyalty above all else, who made Jey bow to his authority. And now, he was acknowledging him as an equal. Jey's voice cracked slightly as he responded, "You don't know how much that means, Use." Roman smiled faintly. "I do. Because I've been where you are. I fought for this family, for this name. Now it's your turn to carry it, the Ula Fala moment." Then came a moment no one expected. Roman slowly reached into his duffel bag and pulled out something familiar. The Ula Fala, the sacred red Samoan necklace that symbolizes power, honor, and heritage. It was the same one Roman wore when he declared himself the tribal chief. The atmosphere shifted. Everyone nearby felt the weight of what was about to happen. Roman looked at the necklace, then at Jey. "This isn't about titles anymore. It's not about who's at the head of the table. This is about what comes next." He stepped forward and gently placed the Ula Fala around Jey's neck. The gesture was ancient, symbolic, and deeply emotional, a passing of respect and responsibility. "Now you have to take our family legacy forward," Roman said. His words echoed through the locker room like a prophecy. It wasn't just about power, It was about purpose. Something had shifted in the bloodline. A symbol of leadership. In Samoan culture, the Ula Fala represents authority and respect, worn by chiefs and elders during sacred ceremonies. For Roman to place it around Jey's neck was monumental. It meant he saw Jey as worthy of representing the family's strength and heritage. But notice what Roman didn't say. He didn't crown Jey the new tribal chief. Instead, he said, "Take our family legacy forward." That's more profound than a title. It's about carrying the responsibility, not the crown. Roman might be signaling a transformation, his era evolving rather than ending. And Jey, the man who defied the bloodline only to find his own identity, seems ready to take that next step. The CM Punk factor. Roman's timing wasn't random. He knew exactly who Jey was about to face. CM Punk, a master of psychological warfare. Punk thrives on making his opponents question themselves, turning confidence into chaos. Roman remembered those lessons from his early years when the Shield crossed paths with Punk. So when he told Jey, "Make him fight in your world," it wasn't just advice, it was a strategy from experience. That Ula Fala wasn't merely an accessory, it was a shield, a reminder that Jey wasn't just fighting for himself, but for generations of warriors before him. Backstage reactions. After Roman walked away, several familiar faces appeared in the hallway: Solo Sikoa, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman. Solo's expression was hard to read. Was he proud of his brother, or did a spark of jealousy flicker beneath the surface? He had once been seen as Roman's next heir. Watching Jey receive the symbol of leadership could awaken something, whether respect or rivalry. Jimmy, still mending emotional scars from past conflicts, looked conflicted, and Paul Heyman, the wise man, seemed shaken. His loyalty had always been to Roman, but what happens when leadership shifts? Would he stand by Jey the same way he stood by the tribal chief, or try to keep the old hierarchy intact? The heart of the bloodline. Roman and Jey's relationship has always been more than just storyline. It's about brotherhood, forgiveness, and legacy. They've fought, cried, and bled for family honor. So when Roman said, "I'm proud of you," it wasn't just an emotional line, it was a moment of closure and faith. For the first time, it felt like Roman truly trusted Jey, not as a follower, but as a leader in his own right. A new era on the horizon. Fans online are already buzzing with speculation. Could this emotional exchange be the beginning of a new chapter in the Bloodline saga? Some believe it's setting up for a massive tribal summit, where Roman, Jey, Jimmy, and Solo determine the family's future. Others think Roman's words hint at his eventual final run, one where Jey becomes the rightful heir, not by force, but by respect. And perhaps, the next great rivalry could emerge: Jey Uso versus Solo Sikoa, for the right to carry the bloodline's sacred legacy. The final moment. As Roman turned to leave, he looked back one last time. "Remember who you are, Us. Whatever happens tonight, win or lose, the family stands with you." No music, no spotlight, just silence and emotion. Jey adjusted the Ula Fala around his neck, his expression filled with pride and purpose. In that instant, it was clear. This wasn't about CM Punk anymore. It was about legacy, about carrying the name of a family that built WWE greatness. Roman Reigns may no longer hold the tribal chief's position in the ring, but his spirit still commands the story. With Jey Uso now wearing the symbol of their family's power, the next chapter of the bloodline has officially begun. And one question remains: did Roman truly pass the torch, or is he testing Jey's readiness to lead? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: the bloodline's saga of legacy, loyalty, and leadership is far from over.